Hey everyone, welcome to the Vet Connect Network. My name is Zach and you are watching our series on suicide prevention and mental health recovery. Now today we're going to talk about guilt. Guilt and guilt's role in depression. Now guilt can come in all shapes and sizes. Guilt can be related to anything from a job, maybe a job loss or a career choice, should have, would have, could have type of thoughts that you may have. It could be family related. It could be in a spouse, in time with family. If you lost a child, whether it be through miscarriage or there was an accident early on. It could come from a friend or loved one who committed suicide. There's always guilt surrounding that, where people say, I should have reached out more often. I should have seen him one more time. I should not have said that the last time we talked. If you're in the military, there's a lot of guilt that we often see, whether it's survivor's guilt. If you come back from the war unscathed and you say, you know what, that should have been me that passed away. I should have been able to give my life for the country. There's survivor's guilt if you lost friends in combat. And why me? Why did I survive? Why not them? For people who've been next to somebody who's been hit by an IED who came out okay. They say, I should have been the one who lost a limb. Guilt comes in a lot of shapes and sizes. The thing that we have to understand with guilt is guilt doesn't exist. It's not something tangible. Guilt's origin comes here. It comes from within each of us. And the problem is, with depression, guilt becomes this cancerous, cannibalistic thing that just eats away at us. I went through that firsthand. You know, in a previous episode, I talked about the first iteration of Vet Connect and starting that early and having to step away and shut it down because I was going through my own recovery. And what happened with that, I had guilt that I failed, that I could not implement my ideas to help save veterans' lives. But then I had a compounding effect of guilt on top of that year after year, where I had this idea that if I implemented my ideas through the organization, I could help save lives of the 8,000 veterans a year that are committing suicide. So when I shut it down, then I would look back and say, it's been 2 years, 3 years since I've done anything with the organization. Look at the amount of lives that we've lost. And I felt guilty for not doing anything. And then that kept me from pursuing the organization a second time. And not once would anybody have ever reached out and said, or did anybody reach out and say, you know what? Of the 16 or so thousand veterans that we've lost in the past few years through suicide, you're to blame. Nobody said that. Because the only place that was even a thought was in my own mind. It was my own guilt. And until I released myself of that, I could not move forward. We each have something important to say. We each have an impact that we can make on this world, something that we can offer that come from our own personal experiences. I had guilt from my injury from years ago and all the surgeries, but I had to release myself of that in order to move forward and try to help others. If you have a spouse, say you've lost a husband, I'm not saying you have to be all bright-eyed and optimistic about that or say that that's even a good thing. It's not what I'm saying. But I am saying there's something that you can take away from that in a positive way. And I can't tell you what that is. And the reality is you won't be able to see it until you give yourself the permission to release yourself of any guilt. And then you can move forward. Was there something you talked about, a life goal that the two of you talked about that maybe you could pursue now? Did you have a passion for an organization or a church group that maybe you can start working with? Could you start a foundation in his honor to carry on his ideas, beliefs? Or did it simply make you decide to spend more time with your family or your children because maybe before that time was taken for granted? We all do that. You have to allow yourself to release the guilty feelings for whatever the incident, whatever's happened. in order to move forward. And you have something to share from your life experience that can help somebody else. And whether it's just freeing yourself of that so that you can move forward and be the best parent you can to your children, or whether you decide to start an organization and help thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. The reality is, in life, we can only help people one person at a time. But all of this has to start with you. You have to give yourself the permission to release the guilt. Well, I appreciate you guys being here for another episode. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and comment on the videos or whatever platform you're watching this on. It helps us get the word out there. And I will see you next episode.